Her best friend is getting ready to take off her pants and jump into the river, but her husband on the side looks distracted.
Nature calls.
This makes sensitive Liv immediately sense something is off. Seeing her husband looking back every few steps, staring intensely at her friend, Liv starts to suspect their relationship. Sure enough, she goes back to the hotel, sneaks into her husband's computer, and finds private videos of the two of them. What breaks her heart even more is that before she can even recover from the sadness, she discovers her friend secretly inviting her husband for a date in the small woods. At this moment, Liv completely explodes. Through the pouring rain, she rushes into the woods in the dead of night. Seeing a red figure, she assumes it's her husband, and without a second's hesitation, she shoves him off the cliff. By the time she returns to the mountain lodge, what's surging in her chest isn't the satisfaction of revenge, but an overwhelming sense of confusion and dull pain. But the dead can't return to life. The most urgent thing now is how to erase all traces. So, Liv scrubs her skin repeatedly to remove any potential dirt, then unlocks her husband's phone, deleting his flirty messages with Kara one by one before meticulously cleaning every corner of the room, terrified of leaving a single slip-up. Unexpectedly, just as she stands in front of the mirror rehearsing her fabricated alibi over and over, a rapid knocking sounds at the door. Liv's heart jumps into her throat, unaware that what's coming next will terrify her even more, because when she opens the door, standing there is none other than her husband, Will, who had just supposedly fallen off the cliff. Liv is instantly stunned. Her husband isn't dead, so who did she kill? She even suspects she's having hallucinations from the intense stress. So she opens the door again, trembling. That familiar handsome face of her husband carries only a hint of hangover-induced lethargy, showing absolutely none of the signs of someone who just fell off a cliff. At this moment, Liv is so terrified she runs away, a horrifying realization piercing through her sanity. That's right, she killed the wrong person. She slams the door shut, her back pressing tight against the panel, her heart racing as if it might burst through her chest. Outside, Will's voice comes with a hint of apologetic conciliation. I know my leaving without saying goodbye last night made you sad. Liv feels icy all over. She forces herself to calm down. After stepping out, she guiltily asks her husband where he went last night.
Where have you been?
I was sleeping off in the rec room. I know I should have come back last night, but...
It turns out he never even left the hotel, so who was pushed off the cliff last night? The answer becomes clear the moment she sees Kara's boyfriend anxiously asking around if anyone has seen Kara. The person she pushed off the cliff last night was Kara. The third party destroying her marriage ended up being the victim of her accidental murder. Soon after, Kara's boyfriend chooses to call the police because he can't contact his girlfriend. The police quickly organize a search and rescue team, and the hotel guests spontaneously join the search. Liv and Will are naturally among them, but Liv's gaze is constantly searching the forest floor. She doesn't care if Kara is still alive. She only cares about that engagement necklace Will gave her, which she accidentally dropped during the push last night, the key piece of evidence that could link her to this murder case. Fortunately, while resting under some tree shade, she sees the necklace shimmering just by Will's feet. She immediately crouches down, pretending to be concerned about Will's sprained ankle, and while gently massaging it, she quietly grabs the necklace, gripping it in her palm and stuffs it into her pocket. Feeling the cold metal against her fingertips, her hanging heart finally settles a little, and she even silently prays in her heart that Kara will disappear in these deep mountains forever. But fate insists on working against her. The rescue team delivers news Kara has been found, but her injuries are severe, and she has been rushed to a nearby hospital. Liv's heart tightens instantly, a thought swirling repeatedly in my mind: she's alive. Will she remember that it was me who pushed her? When they arrive at the hospital, the doctor tells them that Kara has lost some recent memories due to a traumatic brain injury and has absolutely no recollection of what happened on the night of the incident. This news is, without a doubt, a glimmer of hope in a desperate situation for Liv. She puts on a fake gentle demeanor, holding Kara's hand and whispering comfort, while her eyes hide complex emotions that are hard to conceal. For the next few days, life seems to return to normal. Liv and Will continue their honeymoon, as if that horrific accidental murder at the cliff that night was just an absurd nightmare. Until this morning, when she hears the news that Kara passed away from her severe injuries despite rescue efforts. Seeing Kara's boyfriend outside the hospital room, grief-stricken and near collapse, the guilt and fear pent up inside Liv suddenly explode. She runs to a hidden corner at the end of the hospital corridor, covers her face, and sobs uncontrollably, a mix of relief, self-reproach, and confusion. She never imagined that one impulsive act would take an innocent life. After pulling herself together and returning to the hotel, Will suddenly grabs her with a panicked look and pulls her to a secluded spot. He lowers his voice and says the police are investigating the cause of Kara's death. Afraid that his past with Kara might be exposed, he voluntarily confesses his betrayal to Liv. He admits they once had a relationship, but emphasizes that it's all in the past. Liv looks at him and suddenly laughs, a laugh so desolate and pathetic. She knows in her heart that the so-called past relationship is all a lie, their connection never broke. But isn't she in need of Will's cooperation? Her lies also need him to maintain them together. Just then, the police find them and ask both of them to go to the lobby to give a statement. Will instantly puts on a calm expression, describing in detail to the police that he and Liv stayed in their room the night of the incident and didn't go out. His words are earnest and filled with details as if everything were true. Liv stands by, silently nodding, confirming Will's story. The police thank them for their cooperation and state that until the forensic results and on-site investigation reports are out, they need them to stay reachable for further questioning. Will smiles and agrees readily, though a hint of imperceptible panic flashes in his eyes. After the police leave, Liv and Will look at each other in silence. The love they once had has long since been worn away by betrayal and lies. Now all that remains is a mutual understanding based on exploitation and an uncrossable divide. After the honeymoon, the two return to the city, continuing their marriage in name, only living under the same roof, but acting like strangers with an invisible wall between them, until at a family party hosted by Liv's mother, Will suddenly finds her, his face pale, his voice trembling uncontrollably.
They're saying she didn't fall.
What? Who said that?
The police are saying that. They're saying that she was pushed. She was murdered.
Liv's blood instantly turns cold, and the only thing in her ears is Will's intermittent voice. The woman breaks down and tells her mom she killed someone. Her mom covers her mouth, warns her not to speak, and tells her this isn't her fault. This is Will's doing. You hear me? You aren't bad at all. The elderly mother comforts Liv, telling her not to be too sad. Since it's the consequence caused by this jerk, she needs to find a way to pin the responsibility on him. As for how to do it, that depends on Liv's own ability. Just a short while ago, the police investigated and found that Kara did not die in an accident, but was deliberately pushed off the cliff. It was murder. If they investigate the people around Kara in detail, Will definitely not be able to escape the exposure of their improper relationship. For the sake of his reputation, he had to confess everything to Liv, hoping she would continue to lie for him. He just doesn't know that Liv is the real killer. To clear herself of suspicion, Liv has no choice but to magnanimously accept her husband's betrayals. She makes Will disclose all ways he communicated with Kara, preparing to delete their chat history before the police investigate. Fortunately, Kara used burner phones for texting, and being suspicious, she liked to delete messages after sending them so they don't have to worry about text messages now. The main problem is the emails. After telling all this, the jerk sees that his wife doesn't show any extreme reaction and assumes Liv has magnanimously forgiven him. So he tells her everything, how they secretly dated, how they met, and even mentions he once gave Kara a key to their house. This statement makes Liv snap, because it means Kara might have come to their home many times while she was away. Feeling the presence of that woman everywhere in her home, Liv finally lashes out at her husband, calling him a jerk. Regardless, the primary task now is to destroy all evidence. This isn't for Will, but for herself, so she tells Will to go to the company because Will and Kara were colleagues. They always use the company computers to email each other. All they need to do is delete the emails. Things go unexpectedly smoothly. Will quickly deletes the emails they exchanged. After handling all that, the two go to Kara's house together, and under the guise of comforting Kara's boyfriend, they take the opportunity to find the key to their house. After taking the key, they have basically cleared all connections between Will and Kara. Coincidentally, as they leave Kara's house, the police show up. They want to question the two about Kara's murder. At the police station, they use their rehearsed story to tell the police they weren't close to Kara and only talked because they happened to meet. With no other evidence, the police let them go after taking their statements. Unexpectedly, soon after, Kara's boyfriend is arrested as a suspect. It turns out that while the police were checking into Kara's life, they accidentally found a lot of cash, new IDs, and even a lease for a new house. It looked like she was preparing to leave. Kara's boyfriend had never mentioned any of this, which was clearly contrary to what he had said before. In his first statement, he claimed they had a great relationship, even talking about marriage, but that clearly wasn't the case now. The police ask him why he lied, and the man remains silent. Perhaps he doesn't know how to explain it either. Word of the boyfriend's arrest soon reaches Will and Liv, and surprisingly, Will knows the answer. It turns out that on the night of their forest hike, Kara's boyfriend proposed to her, but was rejected. The man couldn't understand why, but only Kara knew in her heart that she loved Will and had already prepared to run away with him, which is why she rejected her boyfriend. This revelation from Will makes Liv think, what if they told the police this? Might it make the boyfriend look even more suspicious? But Will disagrees because he has no way to explain where he got that information. Even without their input, other witnesses have provided useful clues. Someone saw Kara crying in the hallway for a long time that night, so the police infer that perhaps Kara's boyfriend, unable to accept being rejected, carried out a series of retaliations against her. This is just a theory with no concrete evidence. The police have shifted their focus to him. Just when Liv thinks she can temporarily escape the police's prying eyes, her mother suddenly visits. She accidentally finds a set of Kara's photos in the house and finally understands the betrayal her daughter is experiencing, so she wants to take her away. But these words make Liv break down instantly. Choosing Will was her own decision. Even though her family didn't approve, Liv insisted on choosing him. She didn't expect that what she would get in the end was a jerk. So now, the path she chose herself, she has to continue walking, even if she cries while doing it. Seeing her daughter remain so stubborn, Liv's mother prepares to take the photos to the police station to report Will. That's when Liv tells her she is the real killer, leading back to the beginning of the story. Because everything is Will's fault, her mother instructs Liv to make sure no matter what, she pins all the responsibility on Will. After her mother leaves, looking at the photos in her hand, Liv is seized by a murderous urge again. If it weren't for Will, she wouldn't have become this way. So a bold plan forms in Liv's heart. Coincidentally, Kara's boyfriend is released because there's no evidence. He wants to confirm with Liv whether Kara said anything about leaving him, but Liv tells him that if he wants the answer, he should come to her house today. That night, Will enthusiastically prepares a candlelight dinner, wanting to reconcile with Liv, hoping she can let go of the grudge over his betrayal. But Liv has wanted to knife this jerk from the start. If she hadn't killed the wrong person, she would have still been planning to get rid of Will, so Liv could never forgive him. While the two are arguing, Kara's boyfriend breaks in. Liv has only one thought at this moment, killing with a borrowed knife. She uses a provocative method to make Will admit his relationship with Kara. Will, being an idiot, even tells him not to hurt Liv. Unexpectedly, Kara's boyfriend is already on the verge of a breakdown. He had suspected Kara was betraying him, so upon learning the truth, he doesn't say a word and rushes toward Will, the two quickly getting into a fight. Uselessly, Will is knocked out after just a couple of hits, and Kara's boyfriend is furious that Liv knew about this all along but kept it hidden, so he wants to get rid of her too. Just as he is about to choke Liv to death, Liv suddenly feels a commemorative stone nearby. Afterwards, she is taken to the police station for investigation. The detective is curious why Kara's boyfriend wanted to kill her. Was it just because she betrayed him? The detective feels there must be more to it, but Liv refuses to say a word. The detective can only ask why she hit him so many times.
He was on top of me. I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, of course, just when you realized you weren't. Why keep hitting him?
Didn't realize I won.
Liv acts it out very well, and coupled with Will's testimony, the police can only let Liv go. Liv feels light as a feather. After returning home, she impatiently starts cleaning. Kara's boyfriend became the scapegoat, and she no longer has to live in fear. Will is also very happy. He wants to start fresh with Liv. To do that, he applies to transfer his position at the company. He decides to take Liv back to the UK, which is Liv's hometown. Will feels they can start over there and reconcile. Unfortunately, Liv doesn't want to be with him anymore. Before, when he betrayed her, she wanted to kill him. But after this whole mess, Liv thinks divorce isn't so bad. She hopes she and Will can part ways peacefully. Who knew Will wouldn't let her go?
I'll say it wasn't self-defense. I'll say you meant to kill him. Like I said, we're not getting a divorce.
Will is the eyewitness. With one word from him, Liv could go to prison anytime. Under his coercion, Liv dares not bring up divorce again, but she can't bear to be with him in such a suffocating way. Liv thinks for a long time and finally decides to set a trap for Will. If he doesn't want a divorce, fine then, she'll make sure he goes to prison. Liv secretly records him, guiding Will to describe the process of the night of the incident. Will admits Liv acted in self-defense and also admits he threatened Liv, but out of a man's pathetic pride, he feels a man should protect his wife, not be protected by his wife. He hates his own incompetence, so he doesn't want to let Liv go. This woman who has witnessed his incompetence is someone he truly wants to reconcile with, but Liv doesn't think so. She pretends to forgive him and goes to the airport with him. She knows they won't successfully make it to the UK because the police will be there soon.
Thought you might be interested in a video we received last night.
This video was secretly sent by Liv to the police. It contains Will and Kara's text history. This video lets the police know about Will and Kara's relationship and lists Will as a major suspect. Liv acts shocked. Once they get to the police station, she starts selling Will out.
I woke up. It was light outside, but he still wasn't there.
Liv isn't lying. That night after she and Will argued, Will didn't return all night. Will says he slept downstairs, but the police won't believe him because Will met Kara that night and talked to her. That night, Kara rejected her boyfriend's proposal. After they argued, Kara left the room, then met Will and chatted with him. Most importantly, Kara was wearing Will's raincoat when the incident happened. Others might not recognize this raincoat, but Liv knows exactly who it belongs to. With Liv's testimony, the case of Will killing someone is completely solidified. No matter how he explains it, it's useless. Will is sentenced to 25 years. Liv is released without charges. She begins a new life, and all of Will's assets become hers. Sometimes she visits Will, and will still hope she will wait for him, but she just thinks he's dreaming.
You know I didn't kill her. You know I didn't kill Kara.
How do I know?
Because you did.
Over these days, Will gradually realizes the truth in prison. From the start of the trip with Liv to the moment he was finally caught, he kept thinking about who profited the most and who bore a grudge against Kara. After thinking it over and over, he finally finds the answer, but unfortunately, he knows it too late. Now he is a prisoner, no one will believe what he says. Even if he knows Liv killed Kara, he can't find any evidence. He can only vent his impotent rage in prison and watch Liv live it up with his money. Maybe he thinks Liv is a wronged wife, an unreasonable woman, a vicious hag. But in Liv's view, she only did what made her happy, just like Will did in the beginning. Didn't his betrayal make him happy too? Men think betrayal has no price. After all, the bitter fruit is for women to taste. But Liv insists on breaking this viewpoint. She wants to make the morally corrupt taste the fruits of the evil they planted. She is wrong. She is wrong for accidentally killing Kara. If given another chance, she would have gotten rid of Will more covertly and cleanly.